We're at the JJB Stadium for the Carling Cup fourth round tie between Wigan and Newcastle, and never let it be said that we haven't provided shocks and entertainment in this competition so far. And we're hoping we can entertain you just as well this evening. Here's commentators Alan Smith and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, after last night's goings-on, guess who's next up after this for Newcastle United? It is Aston Villa, and if this one goes wrong for Graham Souness's team tonight, then both of those managers going into that game could be under pressure. For Wigan tonight, it's 9 changes from the side beaten by Tottenham. Mike Pollett stays in goal and Lee McCulloch keeps his place. McCulloch and number 3 Steve McMillan are the club's longest servants, having both joined from Motherwell in March 2001 when Wigan were still in the division now known as League One. McCulloch is one of the internationals in the team, having played 5 times for Scotland. Andreas Johansson's a full Swedish international. Alan Mann and David Connolly have played for Ireland, and Josip Skoko was part of the Australian team that reached the World Cup finals this month.
Well, different names, but the same formation for Paul Jewell's side. The boss here has instilled into his players a certain way of playing, energetic and positive, and I wouldn't expect that to change tonight. Midfield's an important area for Wigan though. Josip Skoko and Andreas Johansson might need a bit of help at times in the middle, with Mahan and his colleagues helping out against Newcastle's 3. Up front, it's a new look attack. It lacks the pace of Roberts and the Kamara partnership, but David Connolly will be busy trying to prove that he's worth a place in his side and trying to feed off Lee McCulloch whenever he can.
With Michael Owen already absent, Newcastle have also lost Shola Amiobi with a dead leg, and defender Titus Brambles missing with a groin injury. Celestine Babayaro, who would have missed tonight injured anyway, instead begins a 3-match ban after accepting a charge of violent conduct for his swipe at Everton's Tim Cahill on Sunday. From that team there are 3 changes, with Robbie Elliott, Lee Bowyer and Albert Luque all making their returns to the starting lineup.
Well, it's a slight change in formation for Graham Souness. A 5-man midfield with Alan Shearer up front on his own. There's no doubting, though, that this is the strongest team he could have possibly picked tonight, and that does tell you something about his intentions. Of those 5 in midfield, I'd expect Lee Bowyer to be the one in the main, making the forward runs to support Shearer. The Newcastle centre-forward didn't get much service from out wide at Everton on Saturday, and that does need to change. Obvious owners here on Luque on the left and Solano on the other side to get in some crosses.
After years of being giant killers in this competition, on the league table alone, Wigan are the giants in this 4th round tie, though particularly having weakened his side, it seems, with all of those changes. It would still be a surprise if Paul Jewell's team came out on top against the might of Newcastle with their more illustrious history. Well, when they were in the lower leagues before, they made a habit of knocking Premiership clubs out of this competition. 4 in the last 3 seasons, including Fulham twice. So Newcastle with good reason to be a little edgy and a little nervous, bearing in mind their recent results. Alan Shearer still closing in on the goal-scoring record of Jackie Milburn, which stands at 200. Shearer's on 197, though he would have been on 198 had the goal he scored in the league game here last month been allowed to stand as it should have. Wigan won that game 1-0, and the only starter for them that day, who's also starting tonight, is Lee McCulloch, but he didn't finish that league game. He was sent off near the end of it. The Wigan chairman, Dave Whelan, who was part of the marching band at the old Springfield Park ground the last time Newcastle were in Wigan for a cup tie. Newcastle won that FA Cup replay after a certain Jackie Milburn had earned them a draw in the first match at St James's Park. Tonight's match referee is Steve Bennett, for whom Graham Souness imposed on himself a vow of silence when he sent off Jermaine Jenas at Arsenal on the opening weekend of the season. Souness has already been fined £15,000 for one set to with Mr Bennett when he was Blackburn boss, and in that same role he got a £10,000 fine for an altercation with fourth official Matt Messias in a League Cup win here 3 seasons ago. That victory actually ended Wigan's best ever run in this competition. They've never been beyond the 5th round. The Newcastle manager was looking relaxed, but it hangs heavy on all occupants of that post, the fact that Newcastle haven't won a major honour since 1969, haven't won a domestic honour since 1955 in the FA Cup, and Alan Shearer embodies the will of the current team to change all that. And their change strip tonight of Cypress Green. In the quarter-finals of the Carling Cup at stake. Robbie Elliott recalled to the team tonight, and Charles Nzongbia starting at left-back, where he had to switch to at Everton at the weekend after the injury that was suffered by Babayaro. Charles Nzongbia, who's been one of the bright spots of this season for Newcastle United. Back to him by Emre. Here is Alan Shearer. Elliott. This is Parker. Now Jean-Alain Boumsong. And this is Lee Bowen. He's trying to guide it through for Solano. Connolly. McCulloch waiting for it in the middle, just dragged wide.
A decent ball across from David Connolly to his strike partner. They give the ball away in the middle ground. Newcastle, they work it well out to this side, and his strike partner does everything expected, gets ahead of his man. A little bit of contact as McCulloch touches the ball, no penalty. Newcastle are playing slightly differently to what we thought. There was a suspicion that they might. Albert Luque just getting caught offside here. He's more or less playing up front with Alan Shearer. Roberto Solano isn't playing on the right-hand side quite to the extent that he normally does. More central position.
McCulloch up for the flick on, and Connolly was trying to help it back into the path of Marn, but couldn't quite get the cleanest contact with it. Headed by McMillan. Here's Scott Parker, kept in for Bowyer, closing down by Skoko. Given back to him by Connolly. McCulloch's made the move, and it's David Connolly. Managed to buy some time and tried to feed it back to McCulloch, but Boumsong in the way. Peter Ramage, who apparently blamed himself for the weekend defeat by Yobo, having lost his man at the decisive moment. was dominant in the air otherwise in that match, clambering all over McCulloch there.
Yeah, he did. He had a good game actually at Goodison Park, I thought. Just got caught on his heel slightly from that corner that Yobo hammered home.
Matt Jackson has come forward for the free kick. And Ryan Taylor will look to swing one in. Ball played in, but got away from Shea Given.
Well, it was a beautiful delivery actually, one of those that the goalkeeper has just got to wait and see if anybody gets a touch before he can commit himself. Who's playing in this Wigan side? They do really play the set pieces well, and that's just in the area that you wanted as a centre forward. Maybe skips up awkwardly for Shea Given.
Scored in the last round of this competition against Watford, a penalty. Neither of these teams have conceded so far in the Carling Cup, although Newcastle have just played the one game so far. Here's Connolly. And Taylor fended off by Emery. Here's Solano. Wonderful break, made straight through the middle by Luque, but McMillan got back across to deal with it.
It was a lovely ball from Bobby Solana.
Well, he's still finding his feet, isn't he, Luque? His early time with Newcastle disrupted by that hamstring injury. And Shearer's just broken too soon there. He's offside. But what an opening for Albert Luque earlier.
Well, he's coming back into the side. He's trying to find his feet, find his second win tonight, no doubt. It was a good run. Held it to the last minute, stayed off onside.
There's Boomsong. Now Solano. Jackson there ahead of Luque. It's Connolly. Lined up for Teal. McCulloch's in the middle, but an intervention from Robbie Elliott. Here's Matt Jackson. Emerson Tom. Now McMillan. McCulloch kept it in. Gibbons' clearance. Got away with it. He struck it straight at Johansson.
They do play with a lot of energy and a good tempo, Wigan. They've started off in the same vein as they have all season. Different players, same attitude.
Teal to Taylor.
Just feel they can get a bit of joy down those flanks, you know. They've had a couple of instances up the right and up the left, but the way that Newcastle have set up, they're playing quite a narrow system, and Paul Jewell, I just feel that the likes of Alan Marn and Gary Teal can make headway up those flanks.
Well, they've got a trio of difficult matches to come. They don't come much more difficult than Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester United away, which is why you can perhaps understand him resting key personnel, the personnel that have done so well to get Wigan into the position they're in, fourth in the Premiership.
It's always a difficult one, I think, isn't it? But he has used a core of 11 or 12 players virtually every week, Paul Jewell, and this is as good a time as any. It's just to give him a little rest, especially with Liverpool coming up on Saturday.
Well, it's McCulloch's first appearance in the competition this season. The likes of Chimbonda, Onsho, Dezeu, Baines, Francis, they haven't appeared in it at all, despite being key components of the Premiership campaign so far. Teal. Zogbia. Charles and Zogbia looking for Luque. Away by Emerson Tom. Here's Teal. Skoko. It's McMillan. Skoko, the Australian. Steered out wide by Teal, but Zogbia now finds his captain, Alan Shearer. And here's Solano. Ramage. Bent it round, looking for Luque!
I'll tell you what, that ball was there to be attacked and latched onto. Thought Albert Luque gave it up, didn't expect it to get that far.
Well, he clearly expected Matt Jackson to deal with it, and when it got past the defender, Luque as surprised as anyone. Elliott. Here's Taylor. Teal. It's Taylor who swept it in. Connolly, the nearest glance to it. And it's kept in by Johansson. Now McMillan. It's beyond McCulloch. Cleared by Charles and Zogbia. Here's Ryan Taylor. A good delivery from him, cleared by Ramage. He's asking some searching questions of the Newcastle defence. Taylor, played in by Marn. Connolly.
Newcastle centre-half has got to get a little bit tighter than they are. Lee McCulloch was able to bring one down, then David Connolly in a more dangerous advanced position was able to do exactly the same under no pressure at all. 5-10 yards outside Newcastle's penalty area. Don't expect that. Expect us to have some physical contact off one of the centre halves.
Here's Emerson Tom. Now Jackson. This is Taylor. It's a great searching ball again that's picked out Connolly. Here's Teal. Beyond McCulloch, Johansson's in there challenging with Ramage, and it was another important header that the young defender won.
Well, they haven't wasted the opportunities to get the ball in and get it in with real quality. Wigan, this was yet another example. It's 2 against 2 in the middle. Ramage had to do the job. Play safe, get there first, under real pressure at the far post.
Well, Taylor has already shown the great quality of service that he can provide. He looks to do so again, and Gibbons dropped it. I think Parker in the end got him out of hot water.
Wow, this was an unbelievably difficult ball to handle. Whipping in. Shay Given, bodies all over the place, but he does fumble it and got away with it.
Good reactions from Parker to save the goalkeeper from embarrassment. The corner not as good, but Shearer has to get it behind for another. Free header clear this time for Scott Parker. Across by Marn, Emerson Tom takes a swipe at it but misses. And cleared by Solano. Here's Emery. Now Ramage. And this is Boomsong. And there for Solano.
It's not a night to be dwelling on the ball in dangerous areas. Being put under pressure, it's quite soft underfoot. Easy to make a mistake in these conditions.
Boomsong going for the same header, Johansson underneath it. Boomsong, Johansson. Steered through by Mann, but Elliott in the way. And here's Ramage. Newcastle have had restricted opportunities to get out of their own half so far. Solano here coming under pressure from Skoko. And winning the free kick, which just gives Newcastle a bit of breathing space and a chance to build something. All the taxing questions that have been asked so far by Wigan. So often we hear complaints about quality in the final third, but they've had plenty of it really so far.
Just got to make sure Newcastle they match Wigan's work rate. And a decent looking ball from Peter Ramage. Those are the two times they look most dangerous, in fairness, this opening spell.
Peter Ramage, who's from the same place in Northumberland where Jackie Milburn was born, Ashington, a local product, who's only become really established in the first team this season. It's Lee Bowyer's ball in. Now the man chasing Jackie Milburn's goal-scoring record, Alan Shearer, back to Nzogbia. Against Jackson. It's around him though, can he pull it back? Cleared by McMillan, and it's Parker, now Shearer. Played in by Ramage. And back to Nzogbia, who Wigan incidentally in the build-up felt had carried the ball over the line anyway. In the end it's academic as it comes to nothing.
Oh, it's good play from the full-back though. He's one of the players with true pace in this Newcastle side, probably the quickest of all of them. Shows that here, does it go over the line? It's very close. Can't pick out a teammate. Comes back out. It's not a bad ball in, just slightly over here.
Steered through by Connolly, just in advance of McCulloch, and Given tends to have a very high starting position and reads those well.
Yeah, he did. I think it took Lee McCulloch by surprise, actually, the way David Connolly took the ball and spun really quickly. Good through ball.
Here's Alan Marr. Ran into trouble with Emre. It's Taylor. McCulloch strike, and Given gets a hand to it.
Well, he looked pretty harmless when he hit it. Wasn't the fiercest shot he'll ever strike this season. It's under his feet. He's got the placement for that far corner that Shay Given had to be on his toes. Well, they've just been creeping into that far corner.
Skoko, and away by Parker. Skoko, aimed for McCulloch. Good header down, Connolly! He was onside! Well, was he? The flag's gone up now, but it went up very late.
Well, it did. Just looking across at the referee's assistant. Just after Connolly had struck it and the flag didn't go up immediately. It's a glorious nod down, knows exactly what he wants to do, and I think he's onside. David Connolly doesn't finish it in the end. He'll be pleased he didn't in many ways. He was late with that flag, that's for certain. The assistant. He got it wrong.
Well, maybe Newcastle feel they're due a slice of luck here after the controversial ruling out of the goal from Shearer that should have stood when Leighton Baines cleared it from beyond the goal line. Baines among the Wigan subs tonight, where incidentally they don't have a reserve goalkeeper. Here's McMillan. Ramage. Solano. Scott Parker. Now Nzogbia. Emre. Solano. Zogbia. Parker. Cleared by Jackson. Here's Ramage. Boomsong. Clearance by McMillan.
Only very difficult at the moment, Newcastle, to find the front two. Josip Skoko's just dropping off and intercepting those balls through to Shearer or Luque. Team as a whole working really hard on the Wigan side.
Tom. Skoko. The coming together of Lee McCulloch with Emre, the two players involved in McCulloch sending off in the league match. Now Teal. Connolly. Mann spreads it well. Teal. And Zogbia got back.
That's a glorious ball from Alan Mann, first time. Straight into the path of Gary Teal, and Teal really should have done better with this, and he knows it. His first touch was better. With a chance to get in on goals, and Zogbia very quick though. Very quick to recover his ground.
Well ahead on corners, Wigan. Can they make one count, as Everton did against Newcastle at the weekend? There's everybody.
A lovely bit of vision, isn't it, from Alan Mann? When you're not playing every week, it's not always easy to pick up the tempo. And he's hit the ground running. Be pleased with that one.
May not be playing regularly, but they're keen to keep him as part of the squad. They had to fend off an inquiry from Ipswich for him this season, Alan Mann. He's already had one loan spell. It's Taylor. Emerson Tom, who's just back from a loan period with Derby. And drifted away from Lee McCulloch. Teal. Here's McMillan. Luque. Skoko. Neatly away from Solano. Nice ball as well. Taylor. Some wonderfully flowing moves already from Wigan. And McCulloch has come out wide. This is an area where they've caused Newcastle real problems. So Zogbia and Elliott going across to deal with him.
Well, they are finding a lot of space down that side, and Emre is the one that has to get out. He's more centrally inclined. He likes to drift into the middle and get involved, and he's having to dash across and try and recover at times.
The throw-in launched by Taylor and headed behind by Zogbia for yet another Wigan corner.
Well, dangerous moments, aren't they? Really are. They've all got to be switched on, these Newcastle players. Delivery 9 times out of 10 is normally very good indeed from Wigan.
It's been an anxious first quarter to the game, this, for Newcastle, as Mann plays in another dangerous corner, and again Given loses it, but yet again it's one of his teammates who helps him out, and Zogbia on this occasion, although Given felt he was put under undue pressure. Given normally the most solid and reliable of performers.
Well, they do it extremely well. Wigan, they put the ball into an area They never let the keeper just have a free run at it and catch. Someone standing right in front of him.
Here's McCulloch. Steered out to Teal. Crosses beyond Connolly, but Johansson's followed up with a header, and he beat Ramage to it and got his header on target.
Well, there's another difficult one for a full-back. You're backtracking a little bit, and you know there's somebody coming onto the ball. And that player who's facing it, Johansson, he's always going to be favourite. Little shove in the back, perhaps, from Johansson.
Apart from the early through ball to Luque, he and Shearer have barely been able to make an impression on the game so far. Even the service now to him doesn't reach him, although having picked it up, he's then frustrated to see it's judged a push on Taylor.
And how many times has he seen a player standing right in front, blocking the ball in? Service hasn't been good enough.
McCulloch. McMillan. Skoko. He was committed. Skoko spots Taylor in space. Good ball in again from Taylor! Oh! Johansson with a great chance, and he hit it into the ground and it took the sting out of it.
Well, it's a glaring error, and he knows it. Yet again, Taylor not letting us down with the quality of the ball, and now that's a golden opportunity. It comes off his calf, doesn't get a good strike on it.
What a ball again from Ryan Taylor, who first demonstrated this ability to whip in that quality of cross in his time with Tranmere, and he really is servicing Wigan supremely well.
Well, Pascal Chimbonda's in his position in the first team, but he's making a good case with those kind of passes. He did the hard part in many ways. Got there first ahead of Ramage Johansson.
Emre. Now Shearer. Played behind Luque. Taylor has some defending to do now, and he lost out first to Solano, but then Bowyer couldn't find a way through, and it's Johansson looking to break with it. Teal up to his right. Connolly's made a move to the area. McCulloch's in there too. He's round and Zogbia. Well, they're running Newcastle ragged.
Well, you would imagine that Graham Souness has got to think about making a slight change of formation and adjustment to try and counter this kind of threat down the right-hand side, where Charles Zogbia is getting attacked all the time. And Wigan will really want to try and go a goal up during this period when they're so on top, it's untrue.
Here's Connolly. McCulloch challenging. Ramage wins the header. Connolly challenges again. Solano still hasn't dealt with it. And it's Skoko to Teal. He looks to McMillan. Wigan all over Newcastle without getting their reward. It breaks off Solano, and Mann leaves it for the corner.
Well, he's had his fair share of work to do again tonight. Peter Ramage, how many headers has he had to contest at that far post? And under real pressure. Yet another corner to deal with. Shay Given. They like to put it under that crossbar. Keeper under pressure.
Taylor's kick cleared by Parker for another. And Emerson Tom has taken a knock to the head, which is causing concern to both sides.
I just wonder, you know, they're pointing to the cheekbone, whether it's a fractured one. The players look quite concerned about it. It's not your regular whack in the face, I don't think. Is it a clash of heads there? I think it might be. And Scott Parker comes through late. Emerson Tom right on the cheekbone.
It looks as though he's utterly determined to stay on there and soldier on even with that problem, but saw Shay Given's concern in getting medical attention from the Wigan physio Alex Cribley. and it doesn't look as though the medical men are prepared to let him stay on.
Well, I've had that injury, if indeed it is that, a fractured cheekbone. I've had that, a depressed one, and as a player you normally know straight away, certainly as a physio, you know. I'll wait and see if it is anything that serious.
Taylor's kick. Shearer who cleared it. Wigan temporarily down to 10 men while the fitness of Emerson Tom is assessed. Stefan Onsho, a suitable replacement on the bench. Ramage hoping to usher it out, and is able to do so, helped by Johansson's initial fall. Long consultations with physio and doctor. And it's not looking hopeful for Emerson Tom, who's already heading back to the dressing room. So can Wigan defend against this until they can throw their sub on? Well, Shearer and Luque were both in there, but the ball from Nsogba in the end went straight to Pollitt.
Yeah, he had so much whip and pace on it, it almost beat his two strikers. Neither very close to it. They've done Newcastle, they've just shunted Lee Bowyer across onto that left-hand side to try and stem the flow up that flank from Wigan.
And still, at the moment, Wigan minus a man. The concession of that free kick from Robbie Elliott will provide the opportunity for Wigan to send on their substitute.
It's nice to see Steve Bennett actually just having a word. Sometimes he is wont to get out those yellow cards at the first opportunity.
Wigan then back up to strength now. Stefan Onsho, twice a winner in this competition with Liverpool, makes his first appearance in it for Wigan. Well, Ryan Taylor, he's a bit of a specialist, even from this sort of range. And he's shaped up as though he is going to test Shay Given. Long way out, but Taylor has a go. And the touch gave Parker time to come out of the wall. Here's Nzogbia. Now Emre. Bowyer in that new position out wide to his left. The ball for Shearer too long. Cut out by Jackson. Nzogbia seemed to make some contact with his arm, although hand to ball in the referee's opinion. This is Mann. We'll be watching Wigan in action again this weekend at Anfield. Liverpool versus Wigan, Sky Sports 1, Saturday from noon. And later on Prem Plus, it's Manchester United against Portsmouth. That's from 5 o'clock.
It's probably the first time the two Newcastle strikers have actually combined. It was Shearer flicking it on for Luque's strike partner, and you can see he's just lacking a couple of yards. Luque, not quite up to speed. I don't think he's the type of player that's going to sprint away from you anyway, but especially on a soggy, damp night like tonight, when you're not properly match fit. It's really tough opening half though for Shearer and Luque.
Well, this is the problem for Newcastle, I suppose, at the moment, when they are so short of numbers, that the temptation is always to rush players back. Although that temptation's been resisted in Michael Owen's case. Hopeful that Owen might be fit for the weekend. Here's McMillan. Now Johansson. Skoko. He's done well so far. Now Taylor. Aim for Connolly. Ramage in the way. Doesn't let too much get past him in the air, Peter Ramage. Shearer. Now McMillan. McMillan stopped in his tracks by Solano. Here's Taylor. Struck by Vaughan.
Well, that's got the tact for Wigan. They've come through the middle, and that switch by Newcastle, Lee Bowyer out on the left-hand side. It has managed to relieve the pressure on that side. It's a long way out, that one. Needed to do something, that was for certain. Right under the cosh. Up in that area where the ball is now.
Bournemouth and Watford. Wigan have beaten so far in the Carling Cup this season without conceding a goal. They're the more likely to score one here. Mann broke back for Connolly. And Zogbia tried to hook it away but couldn't. And McCulloch tried to place it, but he couldn't get it on target because of a tip away from Shay Given.
Well, it's a good save in the end, this one. A little bit of luck, the ball pops out from Robbie Elliott. Goes for something clever, and it is a good save. Nothing wrong with the execution here from Lee McCulloch.
Arms corner. Put it away by Shearer. New ball for the throw, which Taylor will take. McCulloch found himself sandwiched by Elliott and Boomsong. And Wigan go into double figures on the corner count. Kick and cleared off the line. Knocked behind in the end by Solano.
Oh, they did really well here. It's Matt Jackson, is it, with a challenge on Boomsong that gets the header in, and Nobby Solano doing the vital thing. That's his job on the post. Did well as a forward-thinking player to stay there.
He does stay there. They really are putting balls in to directly test Shay Given.
It's really upsetting the keeper because he's got 3 or 4 Wigan players around him and he couldn't get anywhere near this cross. Matt Jackson does well. Solana, good instincts. A muscular battle at that far post.
It's all Wigan, and all the statistics bear that out.
That's the old saying, you've got to try and make that pay when you are so on top, and all the shots in on goal.
Played through by Johansson, Boomsong in the way, still the danger not over. Elliott. Now Parker, on by Solano. Luque. Off, given away to McCulloch. He's got Connolly up to his right. He's gone for it. Connolly! And somehow Given smothers it.
Oh, that's remarkable. Remarkable from the goalkeeper. These defences left him exposed at times. Yet again, Newcastle can't hold the ball when it goes up. And Connolly's very close to getting a little flick here. And his reaction's the keeper to get up for the second time. The top class they really are. That's a great save in itself. 2 on the trot. His side owe him a huge favour this half. And yet again, Wigan left ruin, missed chances.
Well, David Connolly doesn't need telling what a good goalkeeper Shay Given is. They've played together often enough for the Republic of Ireland, and even he had a wry smile at the athleticism there of his international teammate that denied him on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, he's got a couple of chances that Shay Given really shouldn't have got anywhere near. I think a Johansson chance, and maybe that last one there from Connolly.
McMillan. Johansson. Skoko thought about the shot, then tried to play it to Teal, and Bowyer control with his hand.
They just don't look altogether comfortable with this system. Newcastle all popping up, handball. Just trying to get to grips with it, slightly different to what they normally play.
Closer this time, but Taylor has stayed out of the way. Skoko and Mann, the two players over this for Wigan. It's Mann, comes back off the wall. It's Stefan Onsho. Let's have a word about the man. Stefan Onsho replaced Emerson Tom. Brynlaw has news of that injury for us.
Indeed so, Rob. I've been talking to a member of Wigan's medical team. It's not good news, as perhaps first suspected. It's a fractured cheekbone, they believe, that Emerson Thomas suffered in that challenge with Scott Parker. The player obviously very, very unhappy because he wanted to make a big impression this evening. He's not been able to. Fractured cheekbone, the word from the dressing room.
Thanks, Bryn. So we'll have huge sympathy with him over that one.
He didn't want to come off, did he? But I think he'll be thankful that he did in the end, because they are nasty injuries.
Here's Teal. McCulloch. There was a tussle with McCulloch and Ramage. And Given came to claim. Now Shearer. Scott Parker, Shearer again. Bowyer's touch back. So for Luque, who was being well marshalled anyway by Stefan Onsho.
Well, the Wigan movement is much better when they're in possession. More options for the player on the ball. They're working harder than Newcastle just at the minute. That's a cause for concern for him, no doubt. Can't keep hold of it for any length of time. Give the defenders the best, a breather.
Well, after their defeat here, the only defeat they've suffered, incidentally, with Michael Owen in the team, Newcastle seemed to be on the road to recovery when they won the next four. But it's another hiccup they're going through at the moment. 2 defeats and a very unsettled start back here on a night when they've looked edgy, looked nervous, and haven't created an opportunity of real note. Ramage. Luque. Now Nzogbia. Hugely ambitious.
He's getting the mouthful off Alan Shearer, pointed to Lee Bowyer in all sorts of space on the left-hand side. A bit impetuous from the youngster. Might get told, reminded by that, of that incident by Souness at half-time, maybe.
Shearer. Boomsong. Ramage.
Oh, Shannon Boomsong taking a chance there. He just cleared his lines, tried to be a little bit clever and the ball sideways to Peter Ramage. Under pressure again as a result.
Here's Connolly. McMillan. McCulloch. Directly at Shea Given. In the middle, but Luque jumps early. And then backs into Stefan Olsho.
I sense that's not really his game, is it? A physical battle, challenge it for in the air.
Here's Johansson. Now Mann. McMillan. Boomsong's header away. Mann's onto it. McCulloch. Skoko. Taylor. It's a real threat whenever he links up with the attack. Look for Teal, but got a lucky break, Taylor. And blocked in the end by Elliott. Now they have found Teal. He looked for Taylor again. Feels that it came off the arm of Nzogbia. Solano looks for Luque. No problem though for Stefan Olsho.
Well, you have to think it can only get better after the break for Newcastle, because they really have been poor. Right under the cosh, and they can feel lucky that the score stays the same, that they're still in this, because Wigan really could have put this tie to bed by now. It'll be a worry for Paul Jewell, I'm sure. The fact that they haven't.
Skoko. Now Taylor. A whipped in cross, and Given misjudged that. Mann. Skoko. A bit of pinball, and again an appeal for handball, an optimistic one from McCulloch as we go into the 2 minutes of stoppage time. Millen. Missed by McCulloch, but Connolly's there to fasten onto it. It's Mann. Cleared by Nzogbia. McMillan. Skoko. Ryan Taylor. Jackson. McMillan. Now Mann. Well by Ramage. It's by Newcastle a bit of breathing space. One constant through all their problems this season has been the great level of support that Newcastle have enjoyed. 4,500 of them have made the trip to the JJB Stadium tonight.
Well, at the moment they're looking at a team that is being out-fought and out-worked in many cases. Too many Wigan players running off their markers, getting the ball without any pressure. It's got to change, you've got to think, for Newcastle to stay in this game.
Here's Teal. Now McCulloch. Dangerous ball in, but it's Solano who clears. Ryan Taylor. Problems of Graham Souness and Newcastle United so far. They've relied on their goalkeeper Shea Given to keep them in this match so far with some very important saves, notably a double save from his Irish colleague David Connolly. The clearest chance of the first half though in many ways to Andreas Johansson, who was in from close range, but when it needed power and it would have beaten Gibbon. He hit it into the ground, and it took the sting out of that clear opening. But Wigan have had the better of it, and at half-time it's Wigan 0, Newcastle 0.
Roberto Martinez and Warren Barton are our guests this evening, and it's very much Roberto's old side who are on top, but Newcastle are holding firm. One Premiership game going on this evening at the Stadium of Light. Liverpool are already 2 goals up against Sunderland. You can watch highlights tonight on Sky Sports 1 from 11 o'clock. Garcia and Gerrard have scored. Crouch is playing. And then on Friday, in the FA Cup, our live game comes from Mansfield. It's Mansfield of League 2 against Grays from the conference, 7:30 on Sky Sports 1. We'll get the thoughts from Roberto Martinez and Warren Barton when we finish the second half in this match, and it looks like Newcastle are making a change. Let's find out from Alan Smith and Rob Hawthorne.
Yes, Newcastle change involves bringing on Martin Britton, who played the last 18 minutes of the last round against Grimsby. He's going to get rather longer tonight as he comes on in place of Lee Bowyer. And although they haven't returned yet, we understand that Wigan are also going to make a change in the second half. Of course, they were forced into one anyway already, and they lost Emerson Tom with a suspected cheekbone fracture to be replaced by Stefan Olsho. And they've picked up another injury in that first half with Steve McMillan sustaining a cartilage problem. So Leighton Baines, the man who was on the line to clear that Alan Shearer effort in the league game, but had crossed the line even though the referee thought it hadn't, comes on for the second half.
Substitution for Newcastle, replacing number 11 Lee Bowyer is number 39 Martin Britton.
So big 45 minutes ahead for Britain and for Newcastle United, but the worry for Wigan is that for all their pressure and all the chances they've managed to create, it's still blank on the score sheet. Away they go, with Wigan having scored in every game since the opening 2 of the season. This is Ryan Taylor. Stefan Olsho. Emre. And that's Elliott. Headed by Luque. And that's Ryan Taylor. Jackson. McCulloch, who's made the move out wide. Cleared by Elliott. Hansen. Now Taylor. It's Boomsong's header clear. Olsho. Cut out by Parker. And here's Solano. Zogbia. Second half starting pretty much as the first ended.
Well, they came out early for the second half, earlier than Wigan, maybe with a flea in the rear from Graham Souness. You'd have to expect some kind of a reaction to that. They've just changed the formation again. Alberto Solano on this left-hand side. Martin Britton over on the right. For one, the passing's got to get better as much as anything, along with the work rate. Haven't been able to string any kind of moves together so far.
Newcastle have failed to score in 8 of their last 15 matches. We must have a winner one way or the other here tonight, even if it goes all the way to extra time and penalties. It took extra time to separate Wigan from Watford in the last round, and they scored 3 goals in that extra half hour. 4 defeats Wigan have suffered this season have been to London clubs. First 2 games and the last 2 games. Ramage's kick towards Boomsong, who's in the area. Olsho dealt with that. net, and the shot is just wide.
Scott Parker coming onto it, doing a good job. Jean-Alain Boumsong backing in, doing what he's there for. Oncho couldn't get a good clearance, and that's sticking out a leg at the far post, very close to getting a touch. That's the danger when you've been so commanding in possession. Wigan, the score is still 0-0.
Ramage. Oncho. That was Teal. Connolly was offside. David Connolly, who scored on his Wigan debut, but he's been injured for a lot of the time since then. Oncho. Here's Baines. Launched by Mann, looking for Connolly, and Boumsong.
He looks confident and cool. Not quite sure if he knew his exact bearings there. Position of his keeper.
Zogbia's run it out. Hiatus for Teal while he puts his boot back on. Here's Baines. Aim for McCulloch. Put it clear by Jean-Alain Boumsong.
Well, there's the difference. Ball up to Leland McCulloch. He wins it towards his strike partner. Alan Shearer wins it. Nowhere near him. Just been a battle for the centre forward. No light at the end of the tunnel at all so far.
No Amiobi for Newcastle tonight, but here's McCulloch looking to get through for Wigan. It's away by Zogbia, who's covering in that natural position for the absent Babayaro. Hasn't always looked comfortable in that area.
Well, it's not the first time he's found touch. Once again, gifting Wigan possession. A tough all night for that Newcastle back four, constantly under pressure, facing these kind of aerial challenges.
Elliott won that one. Here's Emre. How can he set Luque off? Jackson comes across to cover and gets there. Newcastle just given a little bit of hope. Here's Solano. Emre. And Zogbia. Emre. This is Solano. Britain setting off to his right. This is Parker. And Zogbia. Luque. And Zogbia held up by Oncho. This is crossed past him though. Taylor. Now Lee McCulloch. Ryan Taylor. Connolly. Elliott. Here's Solano. Given away by Emre, and this is Teal. Johansson. Just dwelt on it a moment too long, and Scott Parker got back.
Just needed a shout off his teammate. If he got one, he didn't hear it.
Luque trying to take it past Jackson. He stayed in his way. Baines. McCulloch. Now Skoko. And Zogbia. Solano. On by Shearer.
Scott Parker this half is just trying to play in a more advanced role to try and support Shearer. I know that Luque, those two have been cut adrift for the most part. It's Parker that's trying to get up there with some late runs to support. They need to offer some kind of an attacking threat. Just not been there so far.
Here's Boomsong. Looked a decent first touch at first, but then he turned around and saw Connolly there to his horror. Here's Luque, now Emre. There's movement on the Newcastle bench where Michael Chopra could be about to come on for Graham Souness's team, who still aren't making inroads. Solano. Away by Jackson, easily won. Now Skoko. Alan Marr. Not for Connolly, but cleared by Ramage. This is Skoko. Ramage cuts off the supply to David Connolly. Solano. Aimed for Shearer.
Newcastle are so stretched that when the ball does go up to Shearer, the midfielders can't get him touching distance. It's not as compact as they would like.
Zogbia. Elliott. Luque hauled down by Stefan Olsho. It's an inviting opportunity, this, for Solano. Ramage and Boomsong have both come forward for it. Elliott has joined them in there too. Solano whips it round the back to Shearer. And taken out of the goalkeeper's hands. It was Johansson who cleared first. And now Wigan look to launch the counter-attack with Connolly. Parker having to hold him up. But Marn has got forward, and so too has Teal. And in the end, Connolly was crowded out.
It's disappointing when so many blue and white shirts have made the effort to get up there in support of Connolly.
Another card coming up here to Emre. Show of dissent towards Steve Bennett. Well, here comes the change. The experiment in playing Albert Luque up front alongside Shearer hasn't worked out, and now Graham Souness gives youth its head. 21-year-old Michael Chopra, who scored in the opening match of the season, the Intertoto game away at Dubnica, comes on in Luque's place.
Well, Albert Luque was treading water there for the last 20 minutes or so that he was on the park. It's hard enough playing out of position for somebody like him, but when you're not properly match fit, it's doubly difficult. Chopra's got a bit of pace about him in support of Alan Shearer. And Shearer just a couple of minutes ago drifting around the far post, didn't even nodding it back. That's the danger. Has been so quiet all match. Give him half a chance and he'll make you pay.
It is still very much the lurking danger as far as we're going to concern. That's a naughty challenge and a yellow card for Skoko for bringing down Parker in that fashion.
And he's dived in from behind.
Boomsong. Looking for Alan Shearer. Taylor has to deal with it. Manages to do it. But Newcastle getting more encouragement.
Yeah, you just sense a slight shift of the balance of things. Newcastle, they've weathered a heck of a storm so far. You have to think there's a bit more to come. They might be on the verge of seeing it.
Almost at the hour mark before this first corner for Newcastle United. And it's Emre who takes it. Solano couldn't make anything of it, and there's a bit of pushing going on anyway.
Well, he hasn't had too many openings tonight, but this was a clever bit of movement around the back. Got half a yard of space, nobody anticipating it. Getting in there ahead of the keeper. A little touch on it.
Solano's arm raised there against Taylor. McCulloch under the watchful eye of Ramage. Jackson's come forward too. As Taylor hits it in towards McCulloch. And it's Ramage again who wins the all-important header.
That's been the pattern, hasn't it? Superb once again from Ryan Taylor. Beautiful delivery. They've hardly wasted one of those set-piece situations, Wigan. Another chance to whip the ball under Shay Gibbons' crossbar.
So is it going to be lucky 13th corner this for Wigan? It's Taylor who takes it. Taylor and Skoko in each other's way almost before Skoko whipped his shot wide.
I showed real desire to win this ball to start off with. Attacking it when he's stretching a bit for it. Bit of a toe punt. Not far off.
On by Shearer. It's Chopra's header. Now Solano. And Parker stepped out of the way. And this is Marr. Looks for Connolly. Elliott in the way though. Hansen bumping into Robbie Elliott. Winner in the last round against Grimsby, riled by the injustice of that elbow in his face from Justin Whittle. He scored the all-important goal and he's still very much the lurking danger here as far as Wigan are concerned. All breaks down though. Ramage's heavy touch. Solano. Michael Chopra tries to take it in his stride, but Jackson gets his body in the way.
Good play by Jackson. Newcastle do look a little better balanced now. Orthodox 4-4-2 almost.
Britain's cross. Boomsong. Newcastle fans encouraged by what they've seen and trying to play their part now in helping and heralding the revival of their team in this second half. It's frustrating for them when you see the squeeze that keeps being applied on that side as moves break down from Ramage.
Well, fair play to Wigan. They've maintained that work rate right throughout so far. And players that have come in that don't play week in, week out have really made a point, stated their case. Really solid performances from the Wigan team.
Here's Britton. Now Shearer. Can he turn provider? He's won a corner. The Newcastle fans who are in good voice, encouraged by the building momentum here that they're seeing from their team. Elliott came in. Couldn't crown the revival with a strike.
That's a quick short corner. I just want this ball to land at the feet of the oncoming Alan Shearer, perhaps. Not quite the same conviction from Elliott. Oh dear.
So that's what happened to the Chippendales.
They've let themselves cut apart, haven't they?
Johansson, Elliott, now Nzogbia. A touch on its way through. This is Chopra. Parker. Now Johansson. Teal, Connolly up to his left. Teal determined to go for goal.
No, it's a good break from Wigan, and they do use the ball well. Get plenty of teammates in support. Chose not to use any. He had a couple to his right. Gary Teal. Is it going to be my night? Got to be pleased with the way his boys have performed so far, that's for certain. Just not in that vital area, sticking the ball in the back of the net.
And some of these players have yet to be given the chance to prove their worth in the Premiership. Chopra left it for Shearer. And it's Michael Chopra again. Britton. Newcastle having more joy now in winning these corner kicks. So surely the time is coming when they have to make one count.
To make sure that they do use it productively in the way that Wigan have used their set pieces. Get it in the right area, don't waste it.
Falls to Emre to come up with the goods. Beyond everybody. Solano has to try and keep it in, which he does. Back in there towards Elliott. Shearer keeps the move going for Emre. He gets his shot away and it hit post and goalkeeper. Elliott back into a grateful goalkeeper's hands.
Well, that's the closest they've come. They're gradually edging themselves back into this game.
Opening up now. Wigan giving a scare. Teal playing it in dangerously. And it's cleared to Emre. And you feel the breakthrough is coming, but it's not clear for which side. Emre's taken down, and he's a danger from free kicks.
Well, this is the chance. He's desperate to get onto his left foot. You know he's not going to cut back the other way. I think the chance is gone here. And he digs out a good shot and a little bit of luck when the ball cannons off Pollitt. Easily have gone in the net off that boot of his.
Well, he's won this free kick, but he's left Shearer and Solano over the ball.
I think this is one that Shearer fancies, is it?
The crowd want Shearer. It is Shearer. Skoko was the man who came out and blocked Alan Shearer's efforts. Wigan being sent on now by Wigan, the man who won the league match with Newcastle for them. Jason Roberts is being thrown on now in a gamble to try and win the tie and take them through to the quarter-finals. Johansson, the man replaced.
And just inject a little bit of pace into that attack. Connolly's just dropping deep behind those two strikers. Gives them a slightly different shape.
Here's Roberts with his first couple of touches. Now Connolly looking to feed it through for McCulloch, and Zogbia is there and gets a touch fortunate.
He's taking a chance there. Taking a chance. McCulloch breathing down his neck. It's a bit of luck.
Teal was there as well, which was a further cause of worry for Newcastle. Run back by Taylor. Teal's throw, quickly taken. Sense of urgency now about Wigan. It's Lee McCulloch. Thought about playing it through to Roberts, and that moment's hesitation allowed Elliott to take it away from him. Chopra. Well, Newcastle have a problem because Emre, whose early career at St James's Park has been affected by injury anyway, has pulled up with an apparent hamstring problem.
Never ends, does it, for Graham Souness? I think that's what he'll be thinking. Another key player struggling.
Andy Fye is going to come on in the next break in play. Taylor here is looking for Teal, and Zogby's missed it. Teal across, and Roberts just couldn't get the touch, although he didn't seem to be very far away from getting it.
No, I think he was inches. Wigan shouldn't have got this far. Charlton Zogby has the chance and just dangles the leg at it. Opts for power, Gary Teal. Maybe that is what just eluded Jason Roberts. The near post. Slightest of touches, could easily have been a goal there.
No confirmation that there are no immediate end to Newcastle's problems, with Emre off with a hamstring problem. Andy Fire's now come on to replace him. But the Newcastle casualty list just keeps on increasing. With home games to come after this against Aston Villa and Arsenal. The priority for Graham Souness and his side now is to ensure their place in the quarter-finals of this competition, to keep this route to European football open. Fye. Given away by Solano. Played through the middle by Teal, but beyond Jason Roberts. Here's Britt. Now Fye. Ramage. It's broken too soon. Michael Chopra. I'm sure the last thing either manager would want is extra time. But we have to have a winner one way or another.
Well, it's one of those pitches that will take it out of the players. Maybe Newcastle more than Wigan. Yeah, the Wigan lads are pretty fresh in terms of first-team action. It's much more finely balanced now, though, isn't it? Difficult to predict who's going to come out on top.
Jackson, now Baines. Roberts to McCulloch. Connolly!
That's a decent chance. Sits up nicely for him. Lee McCulloch's done this superbly well all evening, backing into his man and finding a teammate with a little flick down. McCulloch, David Connolly's just got to keep his shape. Has to take it fairly quickly, but there's some distance off.
Here's Solano. It's beaten Taylor and it's found Shearer, but he's short of options in the middle. Solano's bidding to get there now. Parker. Stopped by Skoko. Now Alan Marr. Away from Parker. Connolly set off again to try and get in behind Jean-Alain Boumsong. Skoko. Shotwell was looking to force the error out of Taylor, but he did well, found Roberts. Now on show. Looks for Teal, who slipped in behind Nzogbia. Lovely control. Connolly, chance! Oh! Side netting. Marn can't believe he's missed.
Well, how many more chances are Wigan going to get here? Yet again causing problems down that right-hand side. He was onside. Gary Teal, he does well, he's got time. And Zogbia commits himself, he picks out his man, and Connolly doesn't get anywhere near enough contact on it. It's not an easy chance, that one at the far post. Maybe just bobbles up to Alan Marr.
Crossed by Martin Britton. Stopped by Nzogbia. Here's Ramage. Parker unable to keep it in. Who played under Graham Souness at Blackburn Rovers might have dealt his former boss a blow then had he been able to tuck that opportunity away. Shearer. Now Britton. Ramage. Parker. Made room for the crosswell. Cleared there by Taylor. Then by Skoko. It's Nzogbia. Solano. Elliott. Push by Amdifai. Here's Roberts. Fed in by Skoko. Good distance on the clearance, Shay Given. Baines flings it back in. Long couldn't bring it under control, and Ramage has put him under immediate pressure to force him back to Skoko. But look at the room here for Teal. Well, Boumsong and Ramage left to deal with it.
You can't complain about the quality of those crosses. Time and time again it's been delivered into an area. Just needs that final touch, and we've got 13-14 minutes left. It's just a question of who wants it most. Neither set of teams, I'm sure, want it to go to extra time. In the middle of a busy season. particular feature of Wigan's play down this right-hand side. First half and second. Another great cross that takes out the keeper.
Super Sunday this weekend. It's Charlton against Manchester City, live on Sky Sports 1, Sunday from 3 o'clock. Ryan Taylor. On by Shearer. On show. Mann. Skoko. Taylor looking for Roberts round the back, off the woodwork, chance, blocked by Ramage. Well, how many more chances are Wigan going to see go begging?
Well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Sometimes as a player, as a striker, you think it's just never going to hit the back of the net. And Wigan probably haven't created as many chances all season against the Premiership side. Yet again, peach of a cross. Jason Roberts maybe just come off Boomsong's head as well. And that far stick.
Boomsong clears the lines. Taylor. Martin Britton, who's been switched now with Nobby Solano to try and offer extra protection against Gary Teal on this side. Shearer. And again, Alan Shearer. Look to set Parker away.
Well, how close did he come? Jason Roberts gets up well. It's a powerful header. Shay Gibbons certainly wasn't going to stop that.
Roberts has taken a quick free kick and he's onside. It's McCulloch with Connolly over to his left. Just stretched it too wide in the end. But here's Skoko. And Skoko's upended. And there's more danger for Newcastle.
Oh, it just keeps on coming. They've found the second win now, Wigan. Pushing, pushing.
Wave after wave of Wigan attack has gone unrewarded. Could this be the moment? Ryan Taylor, encouraged by the good vocal support he's getting here as he lines up this kick, and he is capable. Taylor, off the wall, corner.
That was a decent effort, just inches over. Inches away rather than clearing that wall, and it was a well-struck shot.
Well, they keep knocking at the door, they're trying to get amongst them there, Roberts and Connolly. Corner goes long and leaves Till with a rescue job, which he accomplishes. He's up against Jean-Alain Boumsong, though. And Skoko gets it horribly wrong.
Well, a few times where they haven't made a set-piece play, a little errant corner that time. Didn't find its mark. It's been a cracking cup tie, though, hasn't it? Both managers would have enjoyed it in a funny sort of way. Maybe him not quite as much. His team haven't hit top gear yet, that's for certain. It tells the story.
That is why Paul Jewell has enjoyed this more than his Newcastle counterpart. Bonsher. 5. Here's Scott Parker. Taylor. On the way to Nzogbia. The ball from Parker. This is Ramage. Solano. Chopra. Jackson gets it away. Parker, who stops Skoko from breaking.
Worked hard tonight. Scott Parker covered a lot of ground.
Here's Roberts. The ground is covered. Parker looks out on his feet.
He's not carrying a knock as well, is he?
Aim for Roberts, and Given has come the distance and gets there and gets caught as well.
Well, I thought Jason Roberts was favourite at one point when this ball was coming through.
Well, this is a worry, isn't it, for Newcastle? If Parker's struggling and with a prospect of extra time and Newcastle having used their substitutes. Ramage. Chopra. Just beyond the reach of Shearer. Britton stops Teal from breaking and wins the throw. Now Parker. And Zogbia. Britton.
How many times has that happened when Newcastle haven't been able to keep it? Loose passing.
Roberts held up by Robbie Elliott into the final 5 minutes of the 90. Extra time and penalties will be used if required to separate these two. Baines trying to ensure that that doesn't become necessary, but it's Newcastle who break. It's Fye, Chopra through the middle, Shearer further over. Show comes to it.
It shows the respective energy levels in many ways of the two teams. Wigan flooding back to defend, and only a couple of players up there in the penalty area. Can't be fair to aim at.
Shearer's knocked down. Too much ground for Michael Chopra to make up. Here's David Connolly. Now Roberts, can he roll away from Elliott? He's gone down. And Steve Bennett has pointed to the penalty spot. He says that Elliott had hold of the striker's shirt, and Newcastle cannot believe it.
Well, it's always a contentious one, isn't it, when the centre forward is backing into the centre half, and the centre half tries to hold his ground. We're going to expect physical contact there. Oh, I think Jason Roberts goes down very easily. He's grabbed hold of his arm. I don't know, I don't think there was enough in that, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Well, Ryan Taylor seemed to want to take it, but David Connolly is going to. It's Connolly against Shay Given, and it looks like this could be for the quarter-finals of the Carling Cup. Connolly, 1-0! Wigan have their reward in the end. Maybe lucky to be awarded the penalty, but their pressure on the night has deserved the lead, and David Connolly kept his cool.
Well, I think that's fair comment. There was a lot of pressure on this penalty, and he does keep his cool, he keeps his head down, he knows exactly where he wants to put it, and he does it really well. Well, if you're going to score one goal, much better to do it in the 87th minute and the 3rd minute. Is that going to be the goal? Puts his team out. I don't think you could have too many complaints if that's actually what does happen tonight.
Souness watches and wonders whether his reign of Newcastle United is cursed. A catalogue of injuries that they've had this season. They've picked up more here tonight. They're struggling on to the end of this contest with Scott Parker not looking fully fit. But who knows, there may be a route back into the game for them yet. It's Chopra, it comes back, Shearer looks to get there, Solano almost did, and Skoko makes a vital tackle. It's Boomsong. Newcastle trying to send out the message that this is by no means over yet. In by Britain. Chopra lays it off. Solano! Wide!
Football being how it is. It takes a goal to go a goal down to produce some of your best stuff. Inject some urgency into Newcastle. A couple of moments when they go very close. I don't think Mike Pollitt, this is a penalty. The fact is, he's got hold of Jason Roberts' arm. Does that make him go down, or does it get down too easily? Good penalty though, nothing wrong with that.
Well, Scott Parker has actually been off the field for a little while. He's back on now. But the time is running out here for Newcastle United. The 4,500 who've made the trip could be making a dispiriting return home. They might argue about the penalty, but they can't argue too much about the justice of Wigan leading on the balance of the play. Can Newcastle make that argument academic by getting back into this? Look at the crowd scene there for the free kick. It's broken here to Martin Britton. And Zogbia. Now Martin Britton. Held up by Taylor, who gets it clear. And now Teal up against Nzogbia. And Nzogbia's unfamiliarity with that defensive role has been exposed on occasions tonight, but he did a good job there against Teal. And there are 3 minutes of stoppage time. 3 minutes for Newcastle United to salvage their position in this season's competition. But Wigan are flooding forward again, maybe looking for a second to finish it off. Boomsong, though, capitalises on the fact that Teal just waited too long. Newcastle look for Chopra, but Taylor gets in the way.
Well, they've done enough. A superb all night, this Wigan side, in many ways. The work rate has been second to none.
Ramage. Solano. Martin Britton. Parker. It's Britton who pulls it back across. And Taylor saves the corner. Parker actually blocked it with his hand. And this gives Wigan time to let a few more seconds tick away. How much closer to the brink is this pushing the sanity of the Newcastle fans and Graham Souness's tenure as manager of the club? Ramage looks for Shearer. Not a happy man.
Well, it's been the manner of the defeat as well, if that's what actually transpires. They have been second best to what is a second string Wigan side after all. Makes it look worse. They can take getting beat, but been outfought tonight. Outrun.
They're nearly there. Less than a minute left. Shearer. Ramage is the one last hurrah for Newcastle United in this competition. Vital that they keep every avenue to Europe open, but this one is ebbing away. It's Nzogbia. In by Britain, Fye looks to get there. Great defending though from Jackson, who's been a tower of strength. Wigan's season of wonder continues. They equal their best ever performance in this competition by reaching the quarter-finals. And it's David Connolly's penalty near the end that sees them through to that stage. Fourth in the Premiership, they sent out a so-called weakened team tonight. Weakened, they must have been having a laugh because they've seen off Newcastle, and there may have been some controversy about the award of the penalty, but on the balance of play there can be no arguing that they deserved to beat Newcastle. They had ample opportunity before Connolly's spot kick to put this game to bed once and for all, but it was Steve Bennett's decision to penalise Robbie Elliott for holding on to Jason Roberts in the box that finally gave Wigan their breakthrough. It was a deserved breakthrough, and it adds to the joy of a club that can't believe the lofty heights that they're celebrating this season. Riding high in the Premiership, the rotated team conjures up the result they came here not necessarily expecting, but hoping for. And now they approach 3 difficult Premiership matches in great heart, and with their place in the quarter-finals of this competition assured. In contrast, dejection from those faithful travelling Newcastle fans. Shay Gibbon, whose heroics in the first half had managed to keep Connolly at bay, goes off utterly disconsolate. Wigan 1, Newcastle 0.
Thanks, Rob. Still to come on this programme, we've got action from 3 other Carling Cup ties tonight, and watch out in particular for one spectacular goal at Middlesbrough. Football to come on Saturday. Liverpool against Wigan again, noon, Sky Sports 1. Prem Plus game, 5 o'clock, Manchester United against Portsmouth. And the Super Sunday game comes from the Valley, where Charlton, who are in action tonight, play Manchester City. Warren Barton and Roberto Martinez are our guests this evening. Roberto's a little happier than Warren is, certainly. And really, you have to say it's no more than Wigan deserved. Their season is back on track, thanks to a penalty from David Connolly. Wigan 1, Newcastle 0. An 88th minute penalty from David Connolly decided things. Roberto Martinez, ex-Wigan, and Warren Barton, ex-Newcastle, are our guests this evening. First of all, let's look at the penalty itself. Any doubt in your mind that it was a penalty, Roberto?
Well, I think we had to look twice at the incident. It was a bit soft. You can see both players are grabbing each other. You can see there is contact. And obviously we have to remember that from the referee's point of view, I think he can see that Elliott is grabbing Jason Roberts' shirt. And
I think as a defender as well, you're the wrong side there. If he's on the other side, he's pushing him away from goal. But with Rob there, Roberts has used his strength, used his body, and he's turning into him towards goal. Rather than being the other side, if Robbie Elliott's the other side, he can push him away from goal. As soon as a striker pins you in the box and you make contact, you're going to make the referee make a decision. And that it is a tough call that the referee's made. But I mean, when you look at that, if Robbie Elliott's position is on the right-hand side, he can push him away from goal and then it doesn't get there. But there was contact, and by doing that, you let the referee make a decision.
Well, if there was any doubt about the decision, there was certainly no doubt about the way it was actually taken, was there?
Fantastic finish. I think it was the composure he showed and very cool. And we were saying he didn't have the best of the games from a striker point of view. That he had a few chances and he didn't put them away. And he showed a great composure there, and it's a fantastic finish.
Well, we can hear from the goal scorer and the man of the match, Gary Teal. They're both with Brynlaw.
Well, David, it was a late goal, but you got there in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a tough game, obviously, and on a very difficult pitch. You know, I'm sure if we'd had a bit of surface, we probably would have scored another couple more. There's a few bobbles there, but the lads played really well, and I think we deserved it against a very good side.
By the 84th minute, though, you must have been thinking it just wasn't going to go in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been playing well, and all you can do is keep playing, and we got the victory. We deserved it, I think, in the end.
Because you guys are playing to impress, aren't you? That's the aim.
Whoever plays has to impress. We were the 11 that started, and obviously we have to impress, of course. But so does everyone else who plays.
So when the chances come along, like the penalty, you have to take them.
Yeah, I thought my play maybe I kind of deserved the goal today, and if that was going to be the way, then I was going to take it.
Well, Gary, it was a battle all night, wasn't it? But the number of chances created was phenomenal for Wigan.
As you said earlier on, I didn't think we were ever going to score, but I think nobody can argue we deserved the victory, and thankfully David scored the goal for us.
Because people had looked at the composition of the side at the start of the evening and wondered, all those changes, did you really have a chance? But it was a very impressive performance.
At the end of the day, I think everyone is a good player, so obviously the boys in the first team at the minute have been doing well, so as you said, we've got to try and impress, but I would take anyone who's in the team I think could maybe get in the side anyway, so it's a case of when we do play we need to make the most of it.
And you've given the manager plenty to think about tonight, haven't you?
No, I don't know, obviously 1-0, I think it could have been more, maybe if we'd have finished more chances then I think we maybe gave more of a problem.
Is this side, the Carling Cup side as it were, now looking forward to a quarter-final then?
Yeah, that's it. Obviously we've done well. Gaffers gave us a few chances earlier rounds as well, so hopefully we'll be the same side again, and you never know whoever we get in the draw, but we'll certainly fancy our chances.
You could go all the way now.
That's it, you never know, we'll certainly hope so.
Well, Gary, well done. It was David who got the goal, but you've got the Carling Cup Man of the Match award. David, if you do the honours, please.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
And you can see who Wigan will get in the next round when we make the draw on Sky Sports 1 on Saturday afternoon, just after midday. 19 chances. They deserved the win, didn't they?
Oh, it was a fantastic performance. I think everyone will be very, very proud of the collective performance. As a team, they played really well. It's a great credit for Paul Jewell. He knows exactly what he wants from the players know that. And as a squad of players, they proved tonight that they are a very strong squad of players. Not only the 11 that they got the credit in the league, maybe, and now we're talking about Wigan, that everyone will look in a different way, and they well deserve. And they played against a very good Newcastle side. We have to remember that.
And Newcastle, they didn't have too many attempts, but those they had were very, very close. I mean, Emery hit the post, didn't he, very early on?
Yeah, second half. They had a rally round a little bit. I mean, the first half was very disappointing. Wigan was on the front foot straight away. They had a point to prove, but you think with this chance it's sort of gone, because he's, he's always favoured to come onto his left foot, but they keep the ball in there, they keep the pressure on, if you like. But when it comes to him out here, you think, is he just going to clip it into the far post? But he does very well, and you think maybe the chance has gone there, but when Lady Luck's against you there, it could quite easily come off the goalkeeper's knee and trickle in. But if we're being totally honest, Wigan deserved it today. The whole performance, as we said, it's hard to pick out a number one player of Wigan's team, but they all give their all, and they had a point to prove. I think that's the key point. The players that have gone out there, they had a point to prove. On another day, Newcastle might have had that, but I think overall, if we're being totally honest, it was Wigan's night tonight.
Well, when Roberts hit the bar and they missed the follow-up, did you begin to think, Roberto, this wasn't going to be Wigan's night? Well,
in a way, it's that way. Normally, when you play well, you create chances. If you don't score that goal, it could be hard, especially when you play against an opposition that in 1 second they could score a goal. That's a fantastic attempting goal.
That's a great block as well. Take nothing away from Ramage there. I mean, it is. Taylor was excellent as a right back. He was pushing forward, but have a look at this for a block as well, because that's going in there. But young Ramage has thrown himself in there. But all over, as we've said, Wigan was first to the ball. They was hungry. The desire was there. It was their cup game. You know, for Newcastle, they just didn't really come out the blocks flying. And you expect going to Wigan, you knew there was going to be a lot of changes. It's an ideal opportunity for you to have a good cup run. But it was Wigan today that really inspired everybody.
And yet, strangely, as soon as they went behind, Newcastle poured forward and could have had a goal.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit too late. You know, in that fear goes out to you. Now you're 1-0 down. You've got nothing to lose. You can go forward. When it's 0-0, you think, is it going to go to an extra time? But this is a half chance, and Alan Shearer anticipating the rebound. But again, you look at the Wigan players, the way they're fighting for the calls, they're throwing their body in the line of fire, and as we've said time and time again, they deserved it. I mean, this is so close. I mean, Solano's great technique, great awareness by Chopper. You know, it's come to him, and that just skims the outside of the post. But again, if Newcastle go into extra time, you still think Wigan had the desire and the drive to push through and win the game.
Well, this amazing season for Wigan just goes on and on. They're in the last 16 now of the Carling Cup. They're fourth in the Premiership. Here's their manager, Paul Jewell, with Brinlaw.
Well, Paul, that's a very, very good win, isn't it?
Yeah, we played absolutely tremendous tonight. The game should have been over at half-time. We played real good football, changed our shape. I asked the lads who haven't played a lot of football to go and enjoy the game. And we certainly did that. But, you know, we made it difficult for ourselves by missing a host of chances. And, you know, we've won it with a penalty. And we're disappointed really not to win the game. The game should have been over at half-time. you know, that's at least we kept going and then we got a penalty.
You got to about the 85th minute before that penalty was scored. Had you already started playing for extra time at that stage?
Well, it's quite funny because I was trying to make 2 substitutions halfway through the second half, and I forgot we'd brought Emerson Tom off first half. So it just shows that I lost my concentration a little bit there. But and we're you know, people. I said we were taking this game serious, and people said, "Oh, they're making 9 or 10 changes." But I said the lads who were coming in are all good players, and tonight, you know, we've outpassed them all over and you know, created chances for fun. The only disappointing aspect for me is that we didn't win a game by 4 or 5.
Now there is a real chance of doing something in this Carling Cup, isn't there?
Well, it's just everyone who's in the last 8 have got a chance of winning, you know. And I seen Doncaster play last night, and they're exceptional. So anyone can win it, yeah.
Any particular preference in the next stage?
No, I haven't. You know, just we'll put this to bed now, and I think it comes up in the 20th of December. So another game for us, but one that we'll try and win.
Stick with the same lads as well.
You're a bit nosy, aren't you?
Very nosy, yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see how our schedule looks, but these lads will probably deserve another chance, yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, cheers.